G'day, Spartan Willie here. Welcome back or welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. But today we're going to try a brand new concept for me anyway. We're going to have a look at the real life F1 races. Obviously we play a lot of the game, Motorsport Manager, on the channel, but never really, the passing comment here and there. But I want to be able to do a few live streams this year. I wanted to do one for Bahrain last night, just like a live watch along with you guys. I want to stream a bit more, but I'm quite busy at the moment. I know I still owe you a 10-hour stream, but hopefully we can make it up for with a few watch alongs. Like I said, wanted to last night, but it was just really late. It started at 2 AM and I basically fell asleep at 3:30, so I missed the second half. I went back and watched it. Awesome race, but we'll get more into that in a minute. But if you think you'd enjoy more of these videos, leave a like on the video and let me know in the comment section below, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the sort of format I want to go with this video and any future videos, if we decide to do more, is I'm going to go through quickly each team, how their race went, give them a quick score from A to F. Then we're going to move on to drivers. Now there's going to be 3 drivers I pick each round. They have weighted votes, so best driver gets 3 points, next best gets 2, and then the third one gets 1 point. And then we can add it up at the end of the season or whatever if we continue on here. But then we're going to have a team of the rounds, and then I'm going to give the race a score right at the end. So that's sort of the format we're aiming for. Let's get started. Okay, so we're just going to go through alphabetically with the team. So we're going to start with Alfa Romeo. Now Alfa Romeo had quite the weekend. Obviously they have the Ferrari power unit, which seems to be a beast. All the Ferrari power teams are doing well in this first race anyway. So they got 9 points in this race. Even Guan Yu, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I got that wrong, correct me in the comments. But I've heard it a lot, it's just when it came to pronouncing it I wasn't really sure. But anyway, yeah, even he got a point in 10th place. Obviously helped by the Red Bulls dropping out, but that's awesome for him on his first race. And Valtteri Bottas, this is strictly going off the race, but he put in a banging qualifying performance. So on race, I'm going to give him an A+. I think this race couldn't have gone much better for them. On to Alphatari. Now, we know about the Red Bulls and their power units. That's sort of out of Alphatari's control because they are the customer, even though they are a sister team. But we're going to just say that's more of a Red Bull problem than an Alphatari problem. But in the end, they finished 8th with Yuki, so that's not bad at all. 4 points. They doubled their tally from last year at Bahrain. Yuki finished in the points there, but only got 2 in 9th place. Pure Gasly DNF last year as well. So ultimately, although it wasn't ideal having reliability issues, it's going to happen. Especially when there seems to be a major fault there, 3 of the 4 Red Bull cars dropping out. I'm going to give Alphatauri a C+, because they still got 4 points, which is double their last year's tally. On to Alpine. Now, Alpine, of course, are using a Renault engine, which cannot be said for a lot of teams on the grid. So I think that their finish of 7th and 9th, one, it's a big improvement from last year where they didn't get any points with Alonso DNFing. Also, it's just a solid step, It's nothing extraordinary. It's not like they came out and were on the podium first race in. But I think it's just a great step. They want to do big things this year. Alonso joined the team wanting to fight for championships. So I think this is a decent step. It's not the best first step, but considering all the other engine problems on the grid, I think they'll consider this a bit of a victory. So I'm going to give them a C. I think without the Red Bulls though, without the Red Bulls retiring, this race looks a lot worse for them. But considering that both their cars made it to the end of the race and no engine problems, I think it's a win for the engine. Result wise, for their sake, I hope they can build on it. So Aston Martin, a hard team to sort of judge because obviously they were missing Vettel, Hülkenberg stepped in, and they have the Mercedes parts as well. So not a lot going in their favour for this race, but that being said, well out of the points. Lance Stroll was 20 seconds behind Guan Yu in 10th. Also Hülkenberg, who did a great job stepping into the car. Obviously that guy is a driver through and through, just be able to step in a car for a weekend and drive that thing. Still 17th last of the running cars, which isn't ideal. Overall, I'm going to have to say this is a tough weekend for Aston Martin. I don't think Lawrence Stroll will be pleased at all. So I'm going to give them a D. So on to the most exciting team yet, Ferrari. Finally a team I can speak happy about. I feel like I've spoken good about one team so far in this video, which is Alfa Romeo, and then the rest has been slowly downhill. But anyway, Ferrari, where where did that come from? I have no idea. That power unit is incredible. Obviously, in all the other cars, as mentioned earlier, the strategy was actually good this race. Ferrari are known notoriously for their bad strategy, but they nailed it this race. Got a bit lucky at the end to get the 1-2 because Verstappen had issues and then Perez dropped out. But I mean, come on, from where they've been the last couple of years to this first race of the season, it's amazing. I'm really rooting for them. Their car looks awesome. Hopefully they can continue this up, but it's got to be an A+ for them. 2 words: Kevin Magnussen. What an animal. What an animal. Haas are back. It looks like it anyway. That Ferrari power unit and whatever other work they've done, maybe it's proving that last year was a good idea just to work on next year, because what a turnaround. They got 10 points that race. The entire last 2 seasons, they got 3 collectively. They've literally tripled their last 2 season tally and then another point on top of that. So it's an amazing weekend for them. Magnussen put in an absolute shift. Schumacher was 11th. Just outside the points, but wow, what a weekend for them. What a turnaround from last season and the season before that. And I think we might see them beat the 2019 point tally of 28, but just in this race alone, A+. We'll see what happens throughout the season. Very exciting. So from very exciting to, as an Australian, utterly shattering. I cannot tell you how gutted I was to see the Honey Badger and even Lando towards the back of the grid that race. Terrible weekend for McLaren. It was basically another practice session, not even a race. They finished a couple of places above last of the running of the cars, but not by much, not by how much McLaren should be. Obviously they have the Mercedes power unit, which could be causing a few issues, but there's something wrong with that car and it needs to be sorted out quickly. I believe that they will. Obviously they had interruptions with Daniel Ricciardo in testing but yeah, this weekend alone, F. First F given out, but I think it has to be given out. So on to one of the more stranger team performances this weekend with Mercedes. Now, it's hard to sort of calibrate it because obviously they're having issues with their power unit. And you know, the head bobbing and all this and that. They've been saying all weekend that they're really behind the 8 ball, and then they come out with the 3rd and 4th. So Honolulu back on the podium, but obviously safety car helps them out massively, and of course the Red Bulls retiring helped them out huge. So I think in Mercedes standards, which is really what we're going off, we're going relative, I think this has to be a C-. They were really nowhere close to competing with the top 2 teams, Ferrari and Red Bull. So it does have to be taken in consideration that Mercedes power unit didn't blow up before the end of the race like 3 out of the 4 Red Bull ones did. But I mean, relative to them, I think it has to be a C-. We are on to Red Bull. Now, they were actually having an awesome race up until Pierre Gasly retired. From then, it just started falling apart completely. They had a competitive car performance-wise. They were right up there fighting for the win with Max right at the start of the race, 20 laps in. Then after that lock-up, he faded a little bit, but I mean, we can't go past the absolute collapse of their power unit. There's something wrong there this weekend. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a bit embarrassing. Just seen a lot of memes and stuff on Facebook. It's a bit embarrassing for Red Bull. I'm sure they'll feel the same. But yeah, they got some problems they need to figure out with the reliability. But other than that, the performance was okay. But considering that this race, they got 0 points, rock bottom of the standings, it has to be an F. They've lost ground to Ferrari, even lost ground to Mercedes, even lost ground to Haas. So, I mean, anyone can be a title contender, and this one will sting a little bit for Red Bull, but an F from me. Alright, so final team to go over is Williams, and how I don't really have a lot to say in Williams. It was a bit of a quiet race from them. They didn't have the best finish in 13th and 16th, so a bit nowhere, but also they're sort of close to points with Alexander Albon. I think Albon will definitely be the better driver over the season compared to Latifi. I don't know how Latifi still has a seat, to be honest. No disrespect to him. Obviously, for an F1 driver, you're doing something right. So yeah, pretty ordinary weekend from Williams. Sort of nowhere, but they are using Mercedes parts. That could be an issue, maybe, if Mercedes can sort of sort that out. If there is an issue with the parts that Williams are using, maybe we can see them go up at the grid a little bit, but probably not the best race for Williams. They would have seen them like to see themselves a bit further up the grid, so I'm going to give them a C-. Alright, so on to our top 3 drivers of the weekend. We're going to start from number 3. I think Guan Yu will get the 1 vote this week. I think he was just solid on debut. To pick up a point on your F1 debut, a lot of people doubting him. I have to say it was pretty awesome to see him get some reward for his efforts. So awesome job from him. Snuck in for the last point on your debut. That's not bad at all. So coming into the number 2 slot, we've got Kevin Magnussen. I think this is going to be a very approved sort of selection. He put on a show this weekend, didn't he? Just from qualifying from 7th, and then no, we're not meant to talk about qualifying, but qualified 7th, and then to convert that to a 5th place in the race, obviously helped by the Red Bulls, but everyone was helped by the Red Bulls falling out of the classification. So awesome race from him all weekend round, but the race especially to convert over, what was it, 57 laps to keep the Haas in the top 5 is incredible. So fair play to him, he gets the 2 votes this race. So on to the number 1 spot, I've picked Charles Leclerc. The guy was just in the zone all race long. Obviously had the good power unit under him, but you still need to take that car to the finish line, manage the tires, manage the car, all the temperatures and stuff, all while Max Verstappen's breathing down your neck for multiple laps that race. His little battle with Max was extraordinary. I thought he kept his head. I think Max can be a bit more aggressive. I mean, everyone knows that. It's nothing revolutionary. But especially sending those long dive moves, Leclerc just sort of let him have it and then went and overtook him a couple corners later. It was just great driving from him. Really experienced. The experience is showing through now. And I just think this was probably one of the best races I've seen from him. So fair play to Leclerc picking up the 3 votes this week. So team of the round, no prizes for guessing this one. It's Ferrari. We've seen, obviously, the first race does include a bit of the preseason in the review, but their work over the off season has been shown in abundance with all the customers, cars, and all the team. Just the work that they put in to get this race victory is unbelievable, and I'm sure all their customers are thanking them a lot right now as well. And I just think it was a flawless performance. Obviously Sainz got a bit lucky at the end there to get 2nd place, but you earn your luck. He was there. Fantastic job from Ferrari, and I hope to see more from them. I'd love to see a 3-team title fight. I'd love to see a 4-1 with McLaren, but yeah, Ferrari, the team of the week. So an overall race score, I'm going to give this race, I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to leave the A+ for like the crazy races, but this is one of the best ways I think F1 could have returned. It was amazing to see the regs, the cars we had to follow. That the only reason that Charles and Max battle was able to happen at the start of the race was because of the new regs, and I'm a fan of the more consistent application. Obviously this will be judged over the season, but the more consistent application of 5-second penalties and stuff like that. I'm glad they have a criteria that needs to be met, and hopefully they can apply that criteria. I think F1 needed a good return after last season. We won't get too much into that, and I think it's nailed it here. I'm well and truly invested in this sport yet again, hence why I see in this video. So an A from me. We'll save the A+ for the really crazy ones, but honestly I think this could be an A+. You know what, I'm going to bump it up to an A+. I think this is the best way F1 could have returned. Minimal controversy and just awesome racing all around. So that is everything we were looking to cover this episode. Now if you want to see more of these videos, please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Leave your comments down below and any feedback. I sort of decided to do this last minute, so apologies if it looks a little rough on the graphics. I'll keep working on them. But I'd love to hear your opinions on the race as well. That's ultimately what I'm looking for. I get asked quite a bit about my opinions on it, so I put it all in this video. I'm sorry for any errors or if I've offended anyone. That's honestly not the point of these videos. I know my opinion means nothing. But you know, just a little bit of fun. We can talk about the real F1s. But yeah, leave your feedback on your thoughts on a series like this in the comment section below. And I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you for watching.